Zos has done it! Spellcrafting, finally! Hey, it's Dan, and welcome to Unified Gaming. So, how does scribing, aka spellcrafting, actually work? In this video, I'm going to go through and break it down for you, show you the ins and outs, everything you need to know in a spoiler-free way as much as possible. There's been a lot of work gone into this, but I'd like to know what you think of the system. Are you excited or not? And I just want to say a massive thanks to everybody who's likes, commented, shares and subscribed. It really helps out, and a bigger thanks to everyone at Patreon. With that said though, we're going to jump straight into the video. So let's go. So you want to make your own skills, but how do you start scribing? Well, first you find the mage adept in Ardrinil. He can be located outside every mage guild throughout the game, and he looks like this. If for some reason you find him hard to find, you can use the collections, and under upgrades, look for the scribing button as shown. When you do this, you accept the quest, the second era of scribing, and an overlay will appear on the HUD above, as well as on the map, showing you where this quest actually is. This will work in any zone, so don't panic. There is no precursor to starting this quest, so you can pick this up day one if you're new to the game, or if you're a seasoned player, he might give you some unique dialogues based on the quest that you've completed previously. And once inside, you'll come across the character Nalia. She will serve as your guide and mentor throughout the whole scribing quest lines, and will just join you on your adventures and travels. She'll give extra bits of commentary, unique pieces of dialogue, and as with the whole system, if it's your first playthrough, I would highly recommend listening to it because it's well written and it explains an awful lot of the system and the background. And if you're like me with 15 characters plus, you can bypass a lot of this on alternate characters and complete the whole tutorial, gain access to scribing within 5 minutes. Thank you, Zos. And before you realise, you're in the Scholarium. You'll notice this is in a state of disrepair, and your first job is to fix it and restore it, gain access to scribing. This will only take a matter of minutes. In order to restore the altar, you have to scribe your first grimoire, Willed Soul. You need to set the focus script, magic damage, the signature script, lingering torment, and the affix breach. If you are an alternate character, you still have to do this part, and you do get given a big chunk of inks to begin with, around 200, so don't worry about that. Once you've done this, you scribe and the altar gets fixed, and you're ready to access the whole skill line. So now I want to break down the scribing system properly and how does it actually work. As of recording, there are 11 grimoires. Grimoires are the base skill. Essentially, what is the base thing it will do. Some of these are tied to weapons, and you need the weapon equipped, some of them are not. For example, Willed Soul will launch a blast of magic at the target, and you can decide will that heal them, give them a shield, damage them, etc. As of recording, there are 1 weapon grimoire for each weapon line, and there are some agnostic ones such as 2 from Soul Magic, 1 from each guild, and 1 from Alliance War. I'm sure these will be expanded over time. It's also worth mentioning that the weapon grimoires need you to have the weapon equipped, so if you use Elemental Explosion, you must have a Destruction Staff equipped, and you need to have level 25 in that skill line to cast it. This is true for all of the weapon skills. So if you are trying to use Smash as a two-hander, you cannot use this on Sword and Shield, it will not work. Equally, this will also need you to have level 25 to cast this in that skill line, so if you are new, you might not be able to use this straight away, so don't rush through it. With the ones that are agnostic, these can be used on any class, so don't panic. I'm now going to focus on some examples of what you can do with the system and explain the differences between focus scripts, signature and affix. We're going to use Willed Soul as an example because this is one you'll become very familiar with. You'll notice it will give you a brief breakdown of what it does, launch a concentrated blast of soul magic at a target. You can then customize how this works. It will also give you some useful information about the cast time, the target, the range and radius, duration and cost. Focusing on Willed Soul, you have the focus script. The focus script defines the function of the skill. This essentially means, what is this main job? I launch some magic at the target, but will it damage the target or will it heal them? Or will it give them a shield? Maybe I could pull the target to me and use it as a pull. Or I could also make it be a stun and I stun the target. What is the main job of this skill? That is your focus script. Once you've selected your focus script, you can then apply a signature script. These are different effects that you can add. They're rather unique and will vary based on the scripts that you chose. For example, Druid's Resurgence will give you Magicka and Stamina back, and you can use this to give your Magicka and Stamina back if it heals you or to an ally. You could also use this on a spammable. And then the final option is the affix. The affix is the final benefit. These are usually minor or major buffs or debuffs. It is also worth noting that the cost will vary based on what you pick. So for example, if we went with healing, this will now cost Magicka. If we went with physical damage, this will cost stamina. But if we went with magic damage, it will cost Magicka again. So the script that you pick will base and influence the cost of the skill. Some of them will also increase the range or decrease the range. For example, pull is reduced to 22 meters, whereas your physical damage is 28 meters. And the stun is 28 meters with a 3-second duration. So it will vary based on what you pick. It's also worth noting that some of the signature scripts will be removed if it doesn't make sense to the skill. So for example, we have stun, lingering torment, and breach. We stun the target, we put a dot on them, and we remove their armor. If I wanted to put this as a heal, some of these options will not be there. So for example, if I go healing, that lingering torment has disappeared. It does not make sense to put a damage over time on ourselves or an ally, so you can't do that. Instead, we have Sage's Remedy, which is a heal over time. And then you get access to beneficial buffs for the target. With this system, this allows you to customize the skill to really meet the needs. And in some instances, you can fix gaps your class currently has. If we focus on Healing Soul, for example, this has cost 3 Luminous Ink. This is the resource that you use to scribe the skills. As you put these scripts on, the cost will stay at 0. If you make any changes, it will then increase by 1 per change you make. So for example, Sage's Remedy isn't that good. We might want to give resources back instead. That may be more beneficial. We've only changed one part of the skill, so we only have a 1 ink cost. So that's also worth noting too. If you want to stay up to date with what are really good skills to scribe for PvP and PvE respectively, then do subscribe, as I do have videos on the way showing really good options just for those things. So with scribing explained, how do you actually get the Grimoires? How do you get new skills? Well, you need to go to the wing of the Indrik. Inside here, you'll have to pick up the quest, and my advice is to complete this entirely on one character, as you will get a unique achievement which is found in your collections under upgrades. Once you unlock this will then allow you to buy the Grimoires from the trader within the Scholarium that I'll touch upon in a moment on alternate characters. Having done a 4 to 6 hour grind, what about alternate characters? Well, Thranduil will have you covered. He's the chronicler located in the Scholarium. In order to access this on another character, you have to do that introductory quest as shown at the start of the video, and you can power through that within 5 to 10 minutes. And you also need to make sure that your main character has at least completed the Indrik wing entirely to unlock the sigil of the Indrik. With that unlocked, the chronicler will appear, and you'll be able to buy the Grimoires on other characters. It is worth noting that the Grimoires will cost 50,000 on the first purchase, and then every character afterwards will be 10,000. So that means the character one that will buy the additional Grimoires will spend a significant amount of money, but then character 3, 4, 5, 6 onwards will only have to pay 10,000 per Grimoire, so 100,000 in total. It means the first time is very expensive, but it does get cheaper the more you use this. It's also worth noting that the Soulburst Grimoire cannot be purchased unless you completed the entire storyline. So my advice would be get your main character, go through, get all of these sigils for the Scholarium, so that way you have everything purchasable on alternate characters. Do it once, you're done and dusted. Now that we understand the Grimoires and how to get them, especially on alternate characters, what about the scripts and the ink? In order to farm the scripts and the ink, you have to hope that RNG is on your side, or alternatively you target farm them by completing the remaining wings and do dailies. Dailies will then increase your drop chance with a guaranteed drop from respective dailies. In order to make this work, you have to complete each wing to the point where you unlock an achievement that is account bound. That means all of your characters will benefit from this, and you only have to do this once. My advice would be to go through this entire system on one character, complete all of this until you unlock Soulburst, at which point all characters benefit from this. By completing each wing, you would then increase your ability to target farm scripts by doing daily activities as well as buy them in traders. You can also increase your ability to farm ink in different ways. Now that we understand that, I'm going to go through and show you what each wing will give you and how that will help you expand your script farming and your ink farming. By completing the Indrik, you unlock all of the Grimoires apart from Soulburst, and you can also unlock the Chronicler. This is the vendor as shown earlier that lets you buy the Grimoires on other characters. You'll also notice that monsters now start to drop ink throughout the world. By completing the Netch wing, you would unlock the ability for dailies to now start to drop the affix script. You'd also be able to buy them from vendors too, such as the Chronicler for some of them, and also the Infinite Archive. Both of those will have rolling stock. You will also start to see that ink will now start to drop from resource nodes throughout the world, and yes, the CP Plentiful Harvest will buff this too. Once the Griffin has been completed, you'll start to see that your dailies will now allow you to drop focus scripts. You can also use the vendors to buy these too. The Chronicler will start to sell focus scripts on a rotating stock, as well as the Infinite Archive. And finally, by completing the Dragon Wing, you will allow your dailies to start to drop signature scripts. On top of this, you will also be able to buy them from traders such as the Chronicler or the Infinite Archive, and as an added bonus, there'll be a few free scripts around the world in the Mages Guild. There's a video coming to the channel, so do subscribe to stay up to date with that. With completing all of the wings, you'll notice you'll have 4 scripts from the Indrik wing, 3 from the intro, and then 9 from the dragon. That assumes that you've gone round to all of the Mages Guild and picked those up. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes if you have the way shrines. As for the other ones, how do you get those? You have 3 ways. You can get them from weekly vendors, so the Chronicler or the Infinite Archive. They will have a rotating stock that will change every week, and they'll sell at least 3 scripts. You can buy more than one of that script and buy it for alternate characters, and if the character that is buying it knows the script already, it will be significantly cheaper. So I'd always suggest buy it on one, use it, and then buy the subsequent ones for as many characters as you need. The other way is to farm dailies. If you do your dailies, you have got a guaranteed drop for one script depending on which daily you target farm. And you can target farm for focus, signature or affix scripts respectively. Please note though that is a account daily, so it doesn't matter if you swap characters, you will not get that guaranteed drop if you keep switching characters. If you don't do that though and you keep on the same character, you will have a 25% chance anyway, so it doesn't hurt to just keep playing the game. And the final way you can get drops is through the world, but the chance is unknown. These are tradable, and knowing Zos, with its such a low drop rate, it will probably be really expensive to buy from other players. So your real options really are the weekly vendor and doing dailies and just playing the game. That said, if you want to target farm some scripts, if you were really after a focus script, the Rewards of the Worthy, the Delve Daily and the Mage Guild Daily will give you a guaranteed drop for the first one you earn on that account. If you then want to target farm a signature script, the World Boss, a Fighter Guild Daily or Cyrodiil Daily is how you can target farm one of those. And for the affix script, it's Undaunted, World Defense or Imperial City Dailies. The system is also smart enough not to give you something you already have. So if you really go, I want to get something I don't have on one character, and flesh those out first, do one character. It takes 20 days roughly to max all of one character, and then you can obviously move on to the second or third or fourth character and target farm what you need. The other thing to also factor in is that the Infinite Archive, although they do sell the stuff every week, it's gonna be hit and miss, so you could be doing this for quite a long time. And the last thing is what's about the class mastery. In order to get this is a unique achievement, and once you have it unlocked on one class, it's available for all classes to be purchased at the Chronicler. You get this from completing trials, dungeons, Infinite Archives, arenas, PvP, and also Master Writs. You'll notice that there's an achievement for this showing this in the Gold Road, and it's called a signature with class. It does take a while to get, but once it's done for everything. So I would really suggest that you just play the game and just wait till this comes. You will get this eventually. And you can check the progress here within the achievement tab under Gold Road. And there you have it, guys. That is my complete guide to scribing, showing you everything you need to know on day one. And it's taken a lot of work to put together, a lot of research, and I just want to say a massive thanks to just all of the people who do support with likes, comments, shares and subscribes. It really helps out. And as I said, I have much more content coming to the channel for PvP and PvE, including builds, as well as guides to do with scribing. So if you want to see all that stuff, as I said, do subscribe. It really helps out. And I want to say a massive thanks to everybody at Patreon and on YouTube members who do get exclusive content, early access and much more. It really means a lot. But as always, I'll catch you in the next video on the next stream. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care and bye.